Hey, folks. Today is a bit of a different day. I'm sure the video title has given it away. But I wanted to go through. I decided, I know this is going to be kind of arbitrary, but I picked 32 shoes across 32 years of my life here. Um, Not all of them are like, here's my very first pair of shoes. No, I'm not going to do like the baby booties. But I did want to go through 32 shoes and their sentimental meaning to me, 32 shoes with their impact they've had on my formation as an athlete, as a person. I'm gonna go ahead and kind of dive into some of these. Some of these might seem goofy, but trust me, there's a story for all of them. So going with picks from 32 to 28. A lot going on here. I do want to say that my very OG favorite kind of shoe to wear when I was a kiddo was a pair of long cowboy boots. I guess cowgirl now for me, but retroactively, these were for some reason a fascination of mine. I really liked wearing them. I think it was because the slip-on comfort. I think the last day I ever wore them, living in the Midwest, it was out like around wintertime. I did a complete split in these. I was crying like no other outside of like a roller derby kind of place for like a birthday party. I swore off of them after that. But my roots didn't sway too far because I got into a pair of Merrill Jungle Mocks. I have a newer picture of one of them here. Like the ones I had were much older styled. Goes without saying too. A lot of these are like my best I could do to pull up images for them. So I apologize if they're not 100% accurate, but I do remember specifically this olive color for these slip-ons. I was a big stickler for no lace shoes back in the day. But my life changed with two particular shoes. You're seeing Matthew Broderick down there in the corner, so we'll jump over to him real quick. When I saw Inspector Gadget, I really wanted Go Gadget, Go Gadget boots. I thought those were the coolest things ever. I thought they were useful. I used to think about like I could go to school in my Go Gadget boots. I could just spring on over to school. And I think in that same vein, back in like 2001, 2002, Sonic Adventure 2, the I can't say it was a straight face. Sorry. The soap shoes that Sonic had, weirdest brand deal ever. The soap shoes, the shoes that let you grind down rails. um, yeah, so those are the red ones there. I thought those were the coolest things ever. Little did I know both these shoes would be, very formative into my desires for bold colorways and in the Go Gadget boots since high drop shoes. But we'll get there. We'll get there. My first de facto real shoe, unfortunately, was the grandpa shoe. It was the infamous Nike Air Monarch. The grandpa shoe. That's the best way to put it. I thought I was the coolest kid wearing these. I was not. Oh, how it feels to be nostalgic. But next, we're going to go through picks 27 through 23. Something you might notice about all of these are they are basketball shoes. Started to get more into sporty shoes around the time I started getting interested into basketball. First off was my Under Armour Brandon Jennings shoes. Requiem will appreciate that one. Those were shoes that were actually hand-me-downs from my dad. I actually wore those as casual shoes, and I used those in my early days of playing basketball. My second basketball shoe I had was the Kevin Durant 2s, the KD 2s from Nike. Those were still a really cool colorway. I really like that. I'm a sucker for the lockdown Velcro strap. I don't know how useful they actually were outside of aesthetics, but that would later be over to the KD4s you see there in the middle. The Oklahoma City colorways. That's back when everybody thought Kevin Durant was a wholesome guy and he wasn't literally just giving on an act. I'm surprised, actually, in retrospect, knowing how honest he is now as far as his thoughts on things. I'm surprised he went that long with the Good Samaritan Act. Regardless, my tragic story with the KD4s is I took them to a rec center one day. Went to go throw out some gum, and I came back and the shoes were gone. Somebody just stole them. I was heartbroken. There was the Hyperfuse from Nike. I couldn't find the exact pair. This was about as close as I can get to them. This was somewhere, in that like 2008, 2011 time frame, junior high, early high school. I really enjoyed those for basketball. I probably wore them out and about more than I should have. They kind of were like an indoor outdoor shoe for me. I was kind of in a high top phase at the time. And then there was also the first pair of shoes I ever bought with my first paycheck. I had been working at Kmart. Kmart had a sale on their brand shoes, Protege. In the bottom left there, that was like their, oh, we're like AND1, but cool shoe. So you see the little air pocket down there in that particular pair. I have a very unfortunate story to share about wearing that kind of shoe. I was out playing basketball in them, and I went for a fast break, went to jump up for a rebound, and when I came back down, that very cheap air pocket exploded. It sounded like my foot actually exploded. It did not, thankfully, but it definitely scared me. It spooked me so bad. And as I sit down here on the thing, my heart was in the right place with these. I think we were trending in the right direction. At least they weren't Air Monarchs anymore. So, getting into my first actual running shoes, picks 22 through 18. Uh, Actually, starting with the bottom right here and the top left were actually two Reebok pairs. The Reebok ATVs and I believe these were the Reebok like Float Zig, I think was the original name for them. Zig Tech. They were really, I think Float Zig's like the more modern one. I digress. The ATVs in particular, I loved. Like just the nice, like kind of like sprayed out, kind of like unconventional running shoe. I always liked kind of bucking my own path. Running in the country where I had first started getting into running as I started getting ready for joining the military. I had a lot of time. I had a couple months before I went off to boot camp, so I got really used to running. And I loved those Reeboks for out running on the countrysides because there's a lot of ditches. You're going from road to sides of ditches. It wasn't really like trail necessarily. It was just kind of, again, as they said, ATV, all terrain. I was like, oh, cool. It might have been a little marketing, but they did help me a ton. I have on there one of the earliest versions of the Puma Ignite. I actually have a very fun story of those. Those were the first shoes I bought when I was deployed out into Korea. Really, really got a lot of mileage out of those. I think I put around 300 as I trained for my first marathon. And then down in the bottom, kind of center towards the left, right there is the Lunar Glides. I believe that, or they're called Lunars. I can't remember. Definitely very bright orangish red colorway there. I got those when I was in technical training in the service in 2014, and I put about 500 miles on a pair of those. Quite a lot. This is before I kind of understood that you need to switch out shoes. Really enjoyed those. And then in the middle there, we have the Ride ISO. That was one I bought in 2017, 2018 timeframe. It was when I first got out of active duty. I went back to school, wanted to get back into running for marathons, so wanted to get more miles up for training. Went with the Ride ISO from Saucony for those. Next up, picks 17 through 13. I have a lot of fond might be the wrong word. I have a lot of memories in these shoes. These are the highest mileage shoes I've ever had, and they were all stability. As I've talked about in the past, I was recommended a plethora of stability shoes whenever I went to running specialty stores. I don't blame the stores necessarily. I think it was more of how I might have articulated what I needed out of a shoe. Maybe I just said support in the wrong way. That's why I think it's important to be educated on shoes when you go to buy them. Regardless, I had put pretty much close to 1,000 miles across at least two or three pairs of these, if not like around the 600 range on some of these. I know particular like the Brooks Beast, I put 600 miles on those. I loved those back in the day. Those were tanks. That was having monster truck treads for me. We have like the ASICS GT1000, GT2000 series, Mizuno Wave Inspire. I put around 150 to 100 miles in those, and my foot was about ready to explode out of them. I just thought that was the pain you had to deal with shoes. I really regret that decision. In the middle, we had the Saucony Guide series. I think it was the 10. I kind of looked for like the year exactly that these came out. I think that kind of lined up. But I remember Everrun. I loved Everrun foam and all the Saucony. Um, I probably out of all these on this like collection, those were probably the ones that I got along with probably the best as far as health's concerned. Um, I didn't put two for two together that, foot injuries, running injuries might have something to do with the shoe I was running. I was like, I just need more stability. So I just kept doubling down on stability, not realizing I was exacerbating my problems. Um, but, it's part of the learning experience. Picks 12 through 9 now. We are getting into ones that I'm glad I had throughout the years. These are ones I have really fond memories of. Actually, I'm going to start in bottom left. The very first Fresh Foam More. I have this exact colorway. I adore this shoe. Even after a couple hundred miles in them, I retired them. They are a casual shoe. They are still in my rotation, and every time I wear them, for some reason, I get compliments on them. Beauty's in the eye of the beholder. I don't think they're the most attractive shoes, but maybe they're unique enough that people gravitate towards seeing them, complimenting them. I'm gonna jump around top right. The Saucony Triumph 20, this like slime blue colorway. I was really leaning on these when I was in that weird kind of transitional period where I wasn't quite committed to rehabbing yet, but I also was trying to be more cognizant of like drop in shoes. This shoe in particular helped me kind of get educated on how higher drop shoes might help my Achilles issues. In the top middle was the Gel Nimbus 25. That was my first like dedicated easy day shoe. We'll get to some of the other shoes in a little bit, but I have a lot of appreciation for the Gel Nimbus line because it did kind of help me see that I gravitate towards easier day comfort shoes over speedy, blow the hinges off the door kind of runs shoes. And then top left, out of all my stability shoes, again, I know that stability wasn't right for me. I look at the Brooks Adrenaline 20 really fondly. I don't know why it's specifically the 20. It's just I really have a lot of fond memories with this shoe. Ran a marathon in a pair of Adrenaline 20s. I got my pup Yoko when I was wearing a pair of those. Took her on tons of walks in a pair of those. So I'll always have a soft spot for that particular Brooks. Oh, you can't see it, but I jumped around to the wrong slide just now. So picks 8 through 6. These are modern classics for me. These are three that I'm reviewing right now that I can tell you right now I'm in love with these shoes. There's the Puma Nitro 3, the Puma Magnify Nitro 3, the Nike Vomero Plus, and the New Balance Fuel Cell Rebel V5. I love all three of these shoes. They are all a little bit different. I think that they're all definitely daily trainers that can pick up the pace. But for me, I like using them for just kind of like my daily paces. Like the Rebels are really wide, which I appreciate. The Vomero Plus are really, really plush while still being really light. And then the Pumas obviously have Puma grip. They're really responsive. I really like the giddy up in them, but they don't feel like they tear up my feet, despite having that nice kind of like high energy return. It's kind of the nice Goldilocks zone. I've been recommending all three of these shoes to anybody who's been asking at work or at home, like family, friends. So getting in the top five, pick number five, it is the Asics Nova Blast 4. Um, there's really no hyperbole to say this. This shoe rejuvenated my running career. This was the first shoe that I got after a specialist informed me that I was wearing the wrong size shoe all these years. So it was 2023, 2024 timeframe. I realized that I had been running in 7.5, 8 size shoes. With my width and volume of my foot, I should have been running in 8.5. So you'd be surprised how much of a difference that makes. It makes me really it really does make me wonder how much I would have avoided injury wise if I had just been in the right size shoe. It is what it is. But these helped me get back in the saddle. Only other thing I could think of about these that I can note is that I skipped the fives. Just, was trying other shoes at the time. I can't wait for the sixes. As of recording this, I bought the Super Blast 3. The Nova Blast 6 are going to be day one for me too. So I'm really excited to get back into a pair of these for daily training. Pick number 4 is one that I have a ton of nostalgia for. It is the shoe I ran my PR in 2019. This is the New Balance 860 V8. Yes, I am not kidding. This is a kind of budget shoe from New Balance. I thought it was the coolest dang thing. And yes, I'm pretty sure, yet again, stability shoe. But, 349.51 in those shoes. I miss healthy legs. I feel like I was born too soon. I feel like if I had the right advice, I probably wouldn't have gotten into a pair like these. But hey, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Pick number 3, back to the Go-Go Gadget. The Nike Vomero Premium. Yep, I'm reviewing them right now. They're very high up on my all-time rankings. No, I don't regret it. Go-Go Gadget, run fast. No, I'm just kidding. Go-Go Gadget, be real comfy. That's what the Vomero Premium are. That 50 millimeter stack. Heck yeah. Pick number 2, it is the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2. This is a shoe that I have a lot of love for. It is a shoe that my brother and I both bond over in the sense that he recommended it to me. It is a shoe that we have both had a lot of success in. When I think of my brother and running, I think of the Saucony Endorphin Speed 2. He is my inspiration for running. So anytime I see a Saucony, I think of my brother. And I picked this particular colorway because I bought it specifically because when Uma Musume Season 2 was out, Tokai Teo, one of my favorite Uma Musume characters, I was inspired by her story and her comeback. That's why I picked the Tokai Teo colorway for my comeback from my first of many leg injuries. But like Tokai Teo, hey, 4th time's the charm. Regardless, I like the class and the character that these shoes have. I really liked the Saucony Endorphin Speed 4. Speed 5, not really my pardon the pun, not really my speed. Still a very, very great shoe. And then finally, pick number 1. No surprise here. It's my GOAT. It is the Asics Super Blast 2. I've talked so much about this shoe. I've splurged about this shoe. It is a little bit of everything that I love in shoes. It's high stack. It's race foam with daily foam on the bottom. Makes perfect sense. You see so many super trainers kind of taking notes from the shoe. Very comfortable knit upper. It feels like I can take it out on an easy run, long run, moderate run, speed training. I mean, for me, I'm a little bit bigger, so speed training for me is not going too terribly fast. And then you can even take it out for marathon day. I've ran a half marathon in these. I think half marathon and marathon distances, they do fine. The 2 really improved upon the 1 in the comfort category, in my opinion. I'm really excited to see how the 3s feel. So with that said, 32 shoes, 32 years. Really looking forward to, knock on wood, having a healthy year ahead. Hoping this is my comeback to long distance running. I have loved every step of the way here, good and bad. I do feel that it has made me the person I am. And without getting too mushy gushy. I really think distance running is a great allegory for life. Um, I think back to I had a mentor who said anybody can run a marathon. It's just a matter of your pace. Um, it's just our constant, our how do I put it? It's our constant striving to get better. It's us against ourselves. It's us against the resistances of nature, weather, um, time, circumstances. Nobody goes out and just snaps their fingers and forgets about all the stressors of life. Um, we are striving. We're persevering. We are doing the best we can, and I think running really embodies that. I always loved team sports, but I always was enamored by kind of like that individualistic inner battle that you have when you run. And it's something that I've definitely fallen for. So I'm hoping to help educate and inform where I can, help folks make informed decisions on different running shoes. Obviously, I'm no expert, but I know a little bit about kind of the market right now. So I want to do what I can to help make people with their decision making for shoes. But we'll see what edition 33 of my yearly check-in on this kind of thing is. But I hope you found this video fun. If you didn't, sorry. We are uploading hopefully 5-6 times a week. That's kind of where I'm aiming at right now. If I miss a day here or there, it's not the end of the world. But I think we're moving and grooving pretty good here. So with that said, I hope you all are staying safe and have a wonderful week.